So we're gonna have our own person beatboxing, or does it just use
Oh yeah,
flow?
you while Jisoo's presenting, you can beatbox in the back.
We'll get this wrapped up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, let's do some
that's
ad-libs in
coughing.
the back.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive podcast. This is me, HD, coming to you with the first episode with my friends here, Kevin Rodriguez and Jizoo Kim, coming from the USA. So both of them go way back with me. So we were the visiting assistant professors at the University of the South. They have a name. It's called Sewanee, and Kevin joined in 2023, and Jisoo joined in 2024. And then we all endured through the Sewanee experience, and then here we are. One of them is still stuck there, which is Kevin, and he's being dragged out to California with a mansion, right? And then today we're going to talk about an interdisciplinary research between Kevin and Jisoo, and then we're going to talk about their life, what's going on with them, and also what's going on with the research. And we're going to have a really interesting talk about a really interesting topic, that is whether plants can see, right? Whether trees can actually see. So let's start with Kevin. So this is where we actually have a little cut, and then you guys can have as many takes as you want, and then after you upload the video, the editor will take care of the thing for you. All right. So Kevin, can you talk a little bit about yourself, your position, what you're doing, your what been up to in life?
All right. So I've been here in Tennessee for about 3 years. I'm an assistant professor, and I work in understanding plant development, or how plants get their shape. I've always done a little bit of work trying to understand how it is that something that most of us think that doesn't think is able to achieve something so complex. And when we look at it, we actually find that all this information or communication is really happening at a really, really small, at a molecular level. And that was a lot of the work that I did in my PhD. I was trying to figure out how is it that plant stem cells, even though they're very small and very small population and they're very tiny, they can actually lead to production of huge things like trees. I was working with just a model organism, Arabidopsis thaliana. It's a little baby plant, but we can actually change the information of how the plants talk to themselves, and we can make these plants get bigger, we can make them smaller. And that's really important because it can actually change the amount of fruit that they make. And for us, that really matters because we eat the fruit of a lot of these plants. And if you don't eat the fruits, you eat an animal that has to be eating those plants. So that's kind of really my interesting work. I came out here to Sewanee as a visiting professor, and it was mainly a teaching position. But in the background, I've always had this interest of I really want to understand how things work. And I started just kind of developing my own projects. I was able to get a little bit of their interest, and then I switched into a tenure track position, which now gives me an extra opportunity to actually do a little bit more of the research. And that's kind of what kind of let the ball start rolling, and we got deeper into the project. But I'll swing back to Jisoo so she can kind of introduce herself, and then we'll dive deep into the project itself.
Cool. Well, so I'm Jisoo. I am a volcanologist. Volcanology is the study of volcanoes, not Vulcans, which I get asked quite a lot. I study how volcanoes erupt, where, with what frequency, and all the things that the volcanoes themselves can tell us. So primarily I look at the crystals and bubbles that we see within the rocks, particularly at high magnification, because those have kind of unique characteristics depending on the type of volcano and where in the world it's found and things like that. And so within volcanology, which itself is a discipline of geology, there are things like physical volcanology, which is like the physics of volcanic eruptions, which I'm quite interested in, but also something called igneous petrology, which is, you can look at the root petrol, thinking about things like rocks. You might think oil too, which is fair, but in this case, really just, hard rock science and looking at really the chemistry and thermodynamic processes behind rock formation and eruption. And so I came to Sewanee last year as a visiting assistant professor to teach intro geology and this class called mineralogy, which you can imagine is the study of minerals, very important in what we do. And I also got the chance to teach volcanology as well. So that was really fun, but just a one-year position as these things go. And so now I am a postdoctoral fellow funded by the US National Science Foundation, and I'm doing a 2-year project. These tend to be 2 years worth of funding, looking at the Petrillo volcanic field in New Mexico in the southwest US. And I am kind of bouncing around between different labs to do this work. And so I say that I'm jointly affiliated between the US Geological Survey, which is a federal science agency, part of the Department of the Interior, and I'm also affiliated with Miami University of Ohio. So
wow.
That's what I've been up to.
That's a long list of affiliation.
Yeah, lots of words.
So for the audience that are not from the States, Kevin is somewhere in the southeast of the States, which they just had I think a snowstorm, which rarely happens. And to you guys that don't believe in climate change, all right, it's up to you. And Jizoo is calling to us from the north, which is in Seattle.
Yeah, Washington
right?
State, yeah.
Washington State. I think it's Oxford something. That's where Miami University is.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right.
So
Oxford,
the
Ohio,
city is
not
Oxford.
Miami, Ohio.
Yeah. So okay. So
not
there's
Miami,
a city.
Florida, famously.
Oh yeah. So that place doesn't care about branding, personal branding as like at all, right? Because they take the university name from Florida and take the city name from Europe. Well, technically, England's not in Europe, but I don't know.
Well, back then it was.
One would be confused. Like if you say that you're in Oxford and then you work in Miami, like that, these are not in the Washington State. Right? Anyways, Jizoo, you said that you have something to say about whatever is going on in the States. We may or may not keep the final version of it, but I don't know. I'm going to try to make it the least political, but if you have to say what you want to say, then we can go ahead with it. All right. Wow, he even has a what do you call this?
Wait, I know you all the way. Let's go.
Okay.
Sorry, my lights turned
All
off.
right.
I don't know why. I think I'm getting spooked out here.
So
Let's
you're
go.
asking about like as it pertains to like science and like the attack on science and funding, or
Anything you want to say?
or like anything I want to say? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess okay. So I should protect myself by saying I am not technically a federal employee. Though I receive federal funding, I am, and I have these, sort of official affiliations with the USGS and Miami University. I am sort of almost like a contractor. You can think of it that way. Like I have this money and I have this proposal that was funded, but I never speak on behalf of the U.S. government or any university. And so just to get that out of the way, purely, speaking as a citizen, I can speak to my experience as, when I applied when I wrote the proposal, it was, October 2023, actually. So, quite a long time ago now. Different administration, and my only concern then was, is this good enough to get funded? And what am I going to do after grad school and all this stuff? And so fast forward to, after the year at Sewanee, everything has changed. I'm not even sure if this fellowship is even going to happen, because fellowships as part of my program or any other division within the National Science Foundation or National Institutes of Health or other, very common forms of funding for scientists in the US, those were being gutted left and right, and often for political reasons relating to climate change or diversity or really, a wide range of reasons. So I was very concerned that would happen to me, even though looking at the language in my proposal, I only briefly mentioned things like, mentoring and outreach to underrepresented students, or my personal experience as a woman of color, blah, blah, blah. But it just seemed like anything was fair game for something that had been funded to be taken away. And that would be a huge blow to my career. I would also just not have a job after Sewanee. That was, very concerning. And so I was supposed to start in June of 2025, and then once it got to May, and a lot of people's grants had been taken away, but thankfully mine was still intact. So once it got to May, I felt more or less reassured that this was going to happen. And so since then, I think attacks on science have not really slowed, and it hasn't gotten in the way of my, selfishly, my research has mostly still been able to go on. But, when you work this closely with any sort of government lab, you still have to deal with the things that come with like the red tape, or, there was a government shutdown just a few months ago, October 2025. And it was ended up being the longest running government shutdown. And, even though it was the longest running, it wasn't the first time something like this has happened in the US. And so what that means is that any, federal employee, their workplace is shut. They can't go to work, they can't work from home, they don't get paid most of the time. And that for me meant I couldn't go into the lab because the doors were closed and we just really weren't supposed to be there. And, those of us who do lab work, whether it's with plants or with rocks or anything else, you need that time. That's, hands-on time working on things. And there's only so much that you can do on the computer, just depending on the phase of your project. And especially when it goes on for 5 weeks, that's a long time in the research world. And so that was a bit of a setback in my project, and something that I will remember, maybe not fondly, but definitely will remember during my time, or, looking back on my time as a postdoc funded by and working with the government.
Oh, that's a great story. So do you have a plan after this, or do you have something lined up after this year?
Not
next
yet.
Year, right?
The project the funding will be out at the end of May 2027, and so that means that I'm back on the job market this fall. And so I've been out of the job market for a while, which has been good, just for my personal, levels of stress. But once I'm back on the job market in the fall, then I'll be applying to, all sorts of things, maybe end up back in academia. I'd love to, actually become a federal employee and work for the survey, but that's another big thing too, that there's a hiring freeze at the federal level for pretty much everything except ICE. And so I am not able
you can
to,
become ICE.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I would rather just be unemployed. So yeah, we'll see what happens then. But yeah, I don't have anything lined up quite yet.
All right. Do you know how well paid ICE are?
It would be a lot more than I would probably ever see in my life with 3 degrees.
Hold on.
You can have a high school diploma and they make a lot.
Do you have a number?
This is just something I saw on the internet, so who knows if it's true, but yeah, I saw some video where an ICE agent was saying that he only had a high school diploma, but he was making $200K.
What? Hold on.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up? Where do can you
HD? You can say anything you want because you're back on home soil now.
Yeah. So, well, I still have some years left on me to chase people on the street. But anyways, I've seen the news. It's bad. So sorry for you guys. I don't know if any of your family members or like anyone in your circle has been affected by that. Do you have a story to tell, or?
Yeah, for me it's been pretty kind of tough because I didn't get my green card till I was like maybe in, I think, high school. And before then, it's like the stresses they're talking about. It's like I went through them when I was younger, and it was like I was out in California, and then there was propositions that were getting posted that at that time they were trying to take students out of the school. There was like they were not going to teach English, like all the classes had to be in English. They didn't have any component in Spanish, and then basically we just got switched from one day to another one. All of a sudden, we were just taking all the subjects in English. So math, history, right? Everything was just completely changed. And, luckily it's like you just work hard, you adjust, and then you kind of keep moving forward. But you still kind of remember a little bit of the stress. And then, like I have a family, and then they always worry about us because, we stand out. And, like we try to make jokes to make things feel comfortable or to feel okay. But like my family now always makes a joke of, do you have
so you have to have a passport with you
fortunately
everywhere,
I'm a citizen,
right?
but it's like I have my and it's like maybe it's overkill because last year we had to go figure out the whole real ID, but it's like I got my passport with me, and it's like just to be case if something happens, I have the real ID. My parents went to go get the real IDs, and then but still, it's that almost like a joke, like, hey, you have it with you, right? Like, we don't want to have to go try to find you after something happens. So that's a little bit tough. And I don't know, I was in California. I was at a grocery store, and the one that got me was the fire department came in to buy groceries. You know how they come in their fire truck and they're walking around, and then like a 5-6-year-old starts freaking out and starts thinking it's the immigration, starts crying, telling his mom that they should leave. And mom's trying to calm him down, like, no, it's not that. And he just didn't get it. He's just freaking out. And then when you see that, it's kind of like, it's a bit tough, But,
so what's the sentiment in the community? Are they ready to go to the streets?
The problem there is you can't really go to the streets because then it's like you make yourself stand out. And this is where you really appreciate that other people who are in a position where they can do something about it, that they go out and actually advocate for us, right? And it's like, kind of like as faculty, when we're new faculty, it's very hard for us to propose big changes or big new things because we're still trying to get into the position, right? To be able to make those decisions. And that's where you need like the older heads or the people who've been there longer to actually kind of help out. Unfortunately, this a few days ago, it was kind of rough. There was a shooting incident. And but that one was a pretty tough one. And I appreciate people trying to go out there and protest and record, but sometimes I do feel bad that it's like,
you mean the one in Minnesota?
Themselves at risk, and that's rough.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right, President Trump, I'm ready to take the job. These guys are clean, so you don't have to worry about it. But I'm open, open to be imported back by this.
Did you say imported?
Cargo. Yeah.
Oh
by
my
cargo.
God.
Anyways, I'm gonna be shipped in to do ice jobs. Anyways, well, the money is bad here, so what do you expect? Anyways, let's move on with the next section. I'm gonna go into, let's say, your motivation in for both of you to get into this line of work, right? So for Kevin, obviously you like looking at plants, and then for Jizoo, you like looking at eruptions. Is that how it works, or are you driven by the oil, like underneath the rocks?
Hate to break
like
it to you, but
US,
there's no oil underneath volcanic rocks or volcanoes. Definitely under other kinds
where does
of
it
rocks.
start?
So that's not my. Huh?
So let's start with Jisoo. Where did it start with you? Like, what's the turning point for you to turn from your undergraduate major into like an eruption expert?
Sure, yeah. I had to take intro geology, but that worked out fine because I was interested in it. But honestly, coming into college, I didn't really understand what geology was in terms of a major or a career. So I didn't consider majoring in it until it was kind of too late. I wanted to graduate within 4 years, and so about halfway through college was when I took a formal geology course for the first time, and it just really struck me when learning about the concept of plate tectonics, or the theory of plate tectonics. I heard about it before in elementary school, middle school, high school, but for some reason this time around it really hit me that the Earth is operating on such long time scales, but through tectonic plates and through tectonics, you are constantly creating and destroying like the Earth itself, or the crust, and that volcanoes were the most direct mechanism that we can observe that, as certainly on human time scales, really kind of blew my mind. And so to be taken by an idea is not something that happens to me very often, but when it does grip you, that that can be really cool. And so not having anything else particularly driving me in terms of wanting to have the most lucrative job or go to a specific part of the world or anything like that, I just followed sort of my heart and kept continuing to take geology classes and trying to see how far I could take this. And I got really lucky, honestly, because the discipline of geology that's most relevant to volcanoes is, well, of course, volcanology, but this other field, petrology, that you can normally is a foundational course within any typical geology program, but I never had the chance to take that. It was just not always offered, and the class was really small at my undergrad, and I also just didn't really know about it, or I didn't quite have the guidance to push me toward that, and so I missed out on that, but somehow still made it through to being accepted to a master's program, and then continuing on to a PhD. And I'm still I'll be kicking and screaming the day they try to push me out. And so to sum it up, it was really just being taken by a single idea through kind of traditional coursework, and of course great professors along the way. But it was, if I were to boil it down to a moment, it would have been whatever lecture that was that one semester.
That's great. So I'm gonna go all the way back to your first explanation about like your idea. So for me, just like any other average like economist or non-geologist, what is a tectonic plate, and how does it relate to volcanic eruption?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, can you explain the process?
Of course.
In between.
So the Earth is made up of many layers that are distinct in their thickness and their composition, and other material properties, how fast waves move through them, what kind of waves can move through them, etc., etc. And the primary.
So inside there's the core is hot. How hot is it?
Oh gosh, I think it's it's like probably like 6,000 Kelvin. Which, we're talking about thousands of degrees. It doesn't even matter if you're talking about Kelvin or Celsius. But I think that's the number that comes to mind. There are people who study the core, but I'm not one of them, so I don't quite remember the picture. So volcanoes are not coming from the core. They come from like different layers? So the more shallow than the core is the mantle, and we live on the crust. And there are other subdivisions that we can get into.
Well, I live on the crust.
Yeah, shocker. And so ultimately, magma, which is what sources volcanoes, does originate from the mantle, but the mantle is pretty deep because it's under the crust, and so magma does need to travel some ways before it gets to the surface, if it even does. Not all magma erupts. Some of it gets trapped under there and it becomes a different kind of rock. But as it travels,
So does it have to maintain the temperature, like while being below the surface?
it could, and that is certainly something that happens, but it is not the most common type of eruption. Much more common is magma having traveled in kind of fits and starts. It's mobile, but then enough of it cools down enough that now it's slow and it can't move as fluidly. And then maybe it heats back up again by some recharge of new magma from the mantle, because that stuff is always going to be it's always going to be the hottest and the most basic, so to speak. And so
Nice.
Magma will travel through, kind of a long path, and sometimes it is continuous, as we say, but other times it stalls. And when it stalls, it takes on other properties. The chemistry of the magma will change a little bit depending on where in the crust it is and the other kind of rock it's surrounded by. It really has to travel a long way before it gets to, anywhere close to where we are in the crust. And so, it'll travel through the mantle and then through the lower crust, then the middle crust, then we say, of course, the upper crust. And so, magma travels, has a pretty interesting journey, and unpacking that is sort of my bread and butter.
Nice. So,
Quick question. For hot springs,
nice.
how does those work? Is it that it's coming up, did it make it all the way up? Or should we worry if you're in the hot water, like with magma, all of a sudden pop up?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we have hot springs and also warm springs and sometimes even cold springs that are associated with magma that's under the crust, or in slightly deeper parts of the crust. And that doesn't mean an eruption is imminent. It just is a pretty good indicator that magma is still in that area. So Yellowstone or the Valles Caldera in New Mexico, these places, or Iceland, where activity is quite frequent there. But the reason that those waters are warmer than normal is because they're truly just being heated from below. And so sometimes that is kind of a more direct relationship, and other times there's kind of a well-developed network that fluids can travel through, and they sort of circulate, and maybe there's some existing pores in the existing rock that can travel through, and that movement itself is detectable in various ways, and sometimes gives if it's enough that it seems to trigger small earthquakes, but still big enough that they are detectable. Sometimes people kind of take that out of proportion, misunderstand it, and say, oh, that means that an eruption is imminent, take cover or evacuate. But it's really just that the volcano as a system has, it's not just the magma. There's oftentimes just this ambient, environmental water input that allows, or that is the stuff that circulates as these fluids. And so long story short, eruption's not imminent.
All right,
just because magma
what
is there.
determines the strength of an eruption? Do you have to pile up some pressure under, and then it shoots up, or I don't know how it works.
Yeah, that's really the key way that it happens, and we do call it overpressure, and that's a pretty good word. It tells you everything you need to know. And so there has to be that pressure that either allows this rising magma to follow a pathway that already exists, or simply create its own pathway. And so that is something that is very well studied and can be even detected by various geophysical methods. But when magma wants to go up, because it's it's got this pressure buildup and wants to go somewhere, either it's going to follow an existing path or create its own path. And I guess another important thing to mention here is that pressure, it's not just coming out of nowhere. It's from the buoyancy actually that the magma is experiencing. And so when something's buoyant, it's becoming less dense, it wants to rise, it wants to go up, and for the case of the magma that's, to the Earth's surface. And so the source of this new buoyancy for the magmas is actually bubbles or gases. And those gases themselves also, they don't come out of nowhere. They're actually part of the magma, but initially in a dissolved form. And so you can think of it like gas in a soda can. Before you open it, the bubbles aren't present because they're dissolved and they're trapped in the can. But as soon as you open it, then the bubbles are able to take bubble form, take this gaseous form. So the stuff that goes into the bubbles did already exist.
Nice.
And so it's the
So
same
you
sort
said
of
that there are
effects.
pathways for the magma to come up. It means that it doesn't just erupt from the top of the mountain, right? It can erupt anywhere, like on the hills, and so the
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah, that's a
so
great
the
observation.
image that I have in my head, that magma has to come up to the top of the mountain to erupt. It's false advertisement of like eruption.
No, it's not false.
Okay.
It's just not the only way. And so a lot of times that is the easiest path, and especially if there is this pre-existing, fracture, that it is at that time the easiest pathway for the magma to go. That's just where it's going to go. And a lot of times it is kind of, the traditional path that you would expect. But there are plenty of cases where you have these sort of sideways eruptions, sort of like you're describing, where they kind of come out where you don't expect, and those are called flank eruptions. And so that is, those are kind of two different ways or exits,
Right, that's
I guess,
great.
for the
I see
magma.
Kevin's face trying to hold in the 20 "that's what she said" jokes that he has. Okay, so go ahead.
No, I had more questions. I was gonna keep going because now I'm kind of wondering. I'm like, okay, so if the volcano's already made, it's because it's already popped, right? And it's like normally it's happening at the edge of the plate, right?
So that
The
is,
tectonic plate, or can it happen in the middle?
It can happen in the middle too, yeah. So that's a great question. So Kevin's talking about, again, these tectonic plates, which sort of divide the crust. So it's to sort of close the loop on that discussion. The tectonic plates are sort of the puzzle pieces of the crust, and the tectonic plates, they don't all move in the same way. Some just sort of slide past each other, others go up and the other goes down, and they all move at different rates as well. And so when sometimes you have the plates moving apart from each other, and the volcano will form at that, or at that spreading center. And other times when you have plates converging or going against each other, then the volcano will form not exactly at that interface, but just sort of just to the inside of that. And so that's what we have here in Washington and through to Oregon and Northern California, the Cascade Volcanic Range. And as for what we call intraplate, within plate volcanoes, that happens a fair amount as well. And so that's a case where I think the exact explanation is a little bit more specific to each tectonic plate and whatever else is going on a smaller, maybe sort of sub-regional scale. But we have those as well, and so those might be like hotspot volcanoes, or to bring up again everyone's favorite, Yellowstone. That would be an example.
Oh, that's cool. You said there are some places, volcanic places in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia, and in Vietnam that you wanted to visit in the future. Can you talk more on what information do you have about these places?
Yeah, so I'm not going to try the names, and so maybe you can share that for the listeners. But one is a set of lava tubes, and the other is volcanic fields. And so lava tube, these are both very cool features. So lava tubes are when lava is coming out of a volcano and it's traveling. And lava just in general, it can be very fast moving, sometimes not so much. It can be high volume, other times not so much. And so when you have lava that is higher volume and it's traveling with some speed, such that the outside layer of the lava solidifies first just by contact with the cooler air, but the inside still stays hot and molten, and sort of runs out, leaving behind a tube, this empty cavity. And so most of the times they're sort of marketed as lava caves, and I mean, tube cave, same idea. It's you go inside, it's dark, and you're like inside lava. Of course, it's all cool now, thankfully, but we have great examples of these all over. When I was in grad school, that was in Arizona. There were some pretty cool lava caves in the city of Flagstaff. In Korea, my homeland, there are some famous lava tubes caves in Jeju Island, and then in Vietnam as well. I was quickly looking up what cool volcanic features there might be, but it turns out there's some
I've
lava
been to
tubes
many.
there
They
too.
have lights in there, and then it lights up different sections of the cave, and then people can either walk in or they can canoe in there. So you can like swim the canoe in there with the cave and water below you, beneath you. So great experience. Although sometimes you cannot see the stuff that is under your foot. So it goes really deep down, and you cannot see the bottom. Yeah. What's that? It's really cool in there because it has subsided like a real long time ago. Yeah, it's a cool experience.
Yay! I'm glad you think so. And then just because we're on this topic, the other cool thing that I was reading about in Vietnam is there are some volcanic fields, and so volcanic fields are collections or clusters of small volcanoes, but they're all very close together, usually pretty close in age too, and similar in chemistry and other features. And so these are, individually they are, their own volcanoes, but they're much smaller than kind of your typical volcano. Maybe the most famous ones in the world, they're going to be much larger. And in contrast, we have these volcanic fields where, as a whole, it's a lot of volcanic material, represents a lot of activity, but on the individual scale, they might have really only had like one eruptive episode, and they just kind of stopped after that. And so there are some, they're really present all over the world, but there are some in Vietnam and also in New Mexico for the project that I'm working on right now. And so that's the Potrillo volcanic field in New Mexico. And those are called volcanic fields, also sometimes called distributed volcanic fields, also sometimes called monogenetic volcanic fields. You should really pick one name, but that's okay. They're cool no matter what they're called.
All right, so there are more than one guy coming up with the names separately. They obviously didn't read each other's work before, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's academia for you.
All right, so let's put the spotlight on Kevin. Can you share about you good? All right, let's put the spotlight on you, and let's talk about how you come to the idea of studying plants, and what's is there any monetary reason behind it, or are you driven like Jizoo by an idea and then you just go with it despite the money, or do you have another way to make money beside being a professor?
So right now I'm
Nice.
working on the purpose at this phase, right? Where it's I think that I'm trying to understand something bigger, and that drive to try to figure out how things work. That's what's kind of motivating me, and I'm putting money aside, or not focused on money for a little bit. There's still hope. I can still kind of pivot a little bit, but I think this project is just too interesting and got my attention, and that's why I got into it. For plants, we know that plants can respond to the environment, right? We know that the current thinking is that they're not able to think, or they don't have any like actual neurons where they can actually send information, but somehow they can react if you do different things like to stimulate them. Like one of the cool ones, you guys probably heard of it's where you can actually shine lights at the plant, and depending on where the light's coming from, the plant will actually turn towards the light and will try to grow through it. And people at first were like, oh, maybe this is like an early version of the vision. But what we now know is that plants basically communicate with hormones, and what they'll do is if the plant's vertical, the light's coming from one side, the hormone accumulates on the opposite side, and that literally makes those cells want to expand. So when two things are basically attached to each other and you kind of start expanding one side, it'll make the other side bow. And that's literally this mechanism of it can make it turn to the light. If you move the light again, it'll actually be able to turn itself back, and it'll chase the light around. The other one is plants are also sensitive to gravity. So the top parts of the plants, which you can call them the shoots, the thing you guys normally see, they'll purposely try to grow up, and then the roots have a mechanism of they purposely try to grow down. If you grab a plant, if you ever had like a windy day and your plant kind of falls over and you leave it there for a few days, you actually see your plant will be sideways, and then all of a sudden it'll start to turn itself up and it'll start growing up. And it just does the same trick. It'll get these cells to start expanding, and because they expand, you'll get that shift to go up. But what really got me to this project is a student came up to me and she told me plants can see. And I was like, no, they can't. She's like, yeah. And then I was like, no, they don't. And then afterwards, she's like, oh, look at this paper. And then I was like, wait, a paper? I thought she had just looked at YouTube or some other resource to find out that plants can see. She gives me the paper, and then this one group claimed that there was one plant that was able to mimic the shape of plastic plants. And that's kind of what really got me, because just how the plant can communicate with itself with hormones, we do know that organisms can communicate with each other, right? So then my thought was that, oh, if a plant can mimic another plant, normally it could be that there's some kind of hormone going on, some kind of chemical signal. The moment they brought this plant out and told me that it changed because of a plastic plant, you don't have hormones, you don't have chemical signals, you don't have DNA. So it shouldn't be able to replicate this thing. And that kind of got me going down this path. Currently the work that they have on it's a little bit rough. It's just, it's a guy who went out in the woods, and he's basically looking for them inside the woods, and he'll just find them on different trees. And depending on how he finds them, he kind of annotates what their phenotype looks like, or what the leaf shape is, what the color is, and things of like how long the shape could be, how wide it could be. And then one of the hardest questions is they were saying that it can change kind of like the outline of the leaf shape. You can get like little different lobes that can be bigger, smaller, and they can actually change in the amount that they have. And this is where, you know, for me as a scientist, I'm always thinking like, I want to have numbers and they have to be accurate, and I can't make them biased myself. So when I first was working with this, I was taking pictures of the leaves, and then I was like working hard, pushing myself to use Photoshop to basically cut out the outline of the leaf, and then try to figure out, hey, how tall is this thing? How wide is this thing? And I was doing very few, and it was a lot of work. And then this is where we met with Jizoo. So initially we met at it was here at Sewanee, and we had an event where they were trying to actually get us to do interdisciplinary work. If I remember correctly, it was for your department, right? Do you remember the event? It was the thing with Tom Powell, where they were like, they just set up a new research station, and they were trying to bring everyone together.
Oh,
yes.
What's it called? Something Creek, maybe?
Yes, Split Creek Observatory.
Split Creek Observatory.
Right? Yeah. So the goal was, they brought in all the professors, and they were like, let's bring in STEM, let's bring in humanities, and let's go out there and figure out what are ways that we can actually work together. And then randomly, Jizoo sat next to me, right? So we're just sitting there, and we just said hello. I think she was complaining about her losing her keys, so she's going somewhere.
Yeah, this is like day 3 of living in Sewanee. I'm like, I don't have my stuff together.
Luckily, Sewanee's super safe, so it was like, oh, if they're on the floor, you'll find them.
It was in my bag.
So then we met there, but then afterwards, I think we were just having lunch as a group. I think it was basically around the faculty, just having lunch. And I was just complaining about this work that I was doing. Like, this thing's so slow. And then this is when Jesus started mentioning that kind of like in our field, we do image analysis, but I was doing here manually. And then that's where they do their work they do image analysis, but this is when they actually use the computers to actually help them do the analysis. Right? And this is where she started kind of talking to me, like, oh, these are some of the tricks that you can do. And then it was kind of like, oh, she told me the tricks, but they're still kind of complicated. And that's where she was like, let me help you with that, And then she started helping me with the project. And from my side, I felt I was asking for complicated things, but relative to what she did at the end of the project, my things were very simple. Like I was like, tell me how long the leaf is. Tell me how wide the leaf is. That's the stuff I want to know. And then it's like, let's figure out the aspect ratio. You divide one by the other one, those kind of things. And then she basically started pushing the model forward a lot more, where, like I said, the outline of the leaf can have like these little lobe structures. And this is where, I don't know if you want to take it away a little bit in this section, but she actually was figuring out ways to actually quantify those values. Do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely giving me a lot of credit here. I'm not sure it's totally warranted, but when you start figuring out the simple stuff, that just opens the door to figuring out a lot more complex stuff. So yeah, I mean, just in terms of making, getting cutouts of leaves or any sort of picture and getting a binary image of it, that's something that people do in so many different fields. And it was something that I brought up just because I had done it before for in a geological context. But once you figure out how to do that and get a good workflow going, then not only do you speed it up because now you have this efficient method that you don't need to do by hand, then you can and then you have once you have a good enough result for the simple workflow, then you can start throwing in more complicated things. And so by the end, we were talking about things that we had never even really heard of before, like convexity, or like trying to identify where exactly in relation to the edges of the leaf, or maybe even like the center line of the leaf, like where those nodes were, where those where all the kind of unique characteristics of these leaves were. So we sort of set it up that it could be, scaled up further. Of course, that was right when I had to end my time at Sewanee, but, it was really great to, work with each other on something where, we could sort of, join forces on something that we, separately had different.
You still use the Jizoo way to analyze the shapes?
Yeah, I actually was trying to see if I can get my computer to share screen, but it won't let me because I have some of the results. But hopefully, editing, they'll show up like right here, and you'll see the shape while we're talking, right?
So how do you analyze the shapes now that Jizoo is not there?
So right now, the experiment we had to set up is, so this plant is difficult to import. It's from Chile, and it's hard to get it into the States. We were able to find a distributor here in the States that actually has it, and I only had a few plants. So initially, we only had 2 of them, and basically we were drawing. We had one plant growing with one plant, a plant growing with a second plant, and the leaf shapes are a little bit different. Normally for us, an N value of 1, saying you only tried it on one sample, it's very, very weak, and it's very hard to publish, right? It's like, this is just random chance could have made this thing happen. So right now what I've been working on is, my lab has basically been doing two jobs. One of them is, we worked with the distributor. He was able to get us 6 more plants. And on the other side is my students are working on basically cloning the plant. So they're making identical copies of the exact same plant. I'll give you guys also a picture of that one. Hopefully you guys can post it up like right here. And we have our first baby picture. We called her, our first baby plant. She has leaves, she has roots. Her name is Greta. And she's the first clone that we have made in the lab. So we're super pumped. Yeah.
Wow,
so
that's
there
so cool.
we're basically, yeah. So we're pumped because now it's like, hey, we have a plant that came from the original. Genetically, DNA-wise, they're exactly the same, right? The only time we see that in humans are like identical twins, right? Where it's like, they look the same, you separate them, and it's like their hair is gonna look the same, eye color, height, everything, we got them.
All right, so I need your explanation on 2 things. So the first one would be, how do you clone a plant? Do you make it breed with itself? And the second one is, how do you design your experiment of whether plants can see, right?
Yeah, so for the cloning of the plant, the goal is we don't want to go through sexual reproduction. Like you don't want the gametes to mix in, because when you do the mixing of gametes, you'll get the DNA gets randomly mixed around. So for example, you are currently half the information from your dad, half the information from your mom. But when you're creating your children, you're giving parts of them, and they won't even be equal parts. You can give, let's say, 42% from your mom, and then the 68 or the 60 something will be from your dad. Those values will be slightly different, and it'll be different parts. So what we're doing is we actually take advantage of the fact that plants keep stem cells. And basically a stem cell is a cell that is super naive in the sense of it can become any other tissue type, depending on what the environment tells it. So it'll be on different hormones. So we'll take a simple, it'll be, if you ever look at a tree or anything kind of outside, you'll see like a branch growing, and all of a sudden, the next season, a branch will kind of start growing out of this little side like that. In that little pocket, there's about 15 to 20 cells that are stem cells, and they're able to create that whole branch. So what we do is we basically cut off that little section, we put it into this media that has the best protein shake you could imagine. It'll support the plant, and then we give it those extra hormones to try to tell it that, one, it should try making a shoot system, so it'll start making leaves and it'll start growing up. Afterwards, we switch it to a new hormone concentration, and then we trick it into creating the roots. And then once you have a shoot and a root, those things just take over like it's a brand new baby. We're getting a lot closer to doing this with humans and animals, when we start growing stuff from stem cells. But for plants, it's kind of actually quite easy. I don't know if my parents are into gardening, I don't know if you guys are, but there's some plants where they'll literally cut them and they'll just stick them in water, and all of a sudden they'll start growing again. That's because stem cells from plants are super resilient. They're super tough, and you can make them grow really fast. I think mint is one of the big ones you gotta be careful.
Can you do that with this one? Cut out a branch and then stick in water?
I've been trying. It's a woody plant, so it's a little bit more difficult. I've done different hormones, but it's very sensitive to drying out. And that's, I've been having to make automated systems to water these things, try to keep them happy. It's drippers and humidifiers, and we're still trying to figure it out because we're out here in Tennessee and we're trying to replicate stuff from Chile in the Amazon. The soil was 2-3 months of us battling to figure out how much carbon we need to put into this thing, charcoal, the pH. It was a lot. So that's one way we're trying to hopefully create copies. So you guys, if I talk about this almost in comic book format, it's when you think about Deadpool, right? Where he gets hurt and cut his hand off and his hand grows back. If he was a plant and you cut his hand off, for us, it would be that the hand should grow back, but at the same time, his hand should create a whole new Deadpool.
Wow.
Right? So it's still technically the same base, but it should make two things.
So why do you need 6 more plants from Chile? Can you not just clone it?
So the thing is, it would be better for us to be able to clone it, because if I do that, then I know they're identical beings, and then there's nothing different behind them, right? If, for example, if we talk about humans and we said, hey, let's compare my height with your height, it could be just because genetically we're a little bit different, and that could define why we are different heights. But in this case, it'd be we'd prefer to have a lot of clones of the exact same one, to be hey, they're 10 identical brothers. They all look exactly the same. And now we see what environment will make them actually behave to get bigger or get smaller, or what's going on. So that's going to be the really big test. So that's one side. Just you need them to be identical. That way there's nothing different except the thing that I'm playing around with. So what we have now is we have these, there are these tents for growing plants. They're basically like mylar, so it's they're sealed in there. We have a fan that blows in air, but that's going through a HEPA filter and a carbon filter. So the goal is your air is actually coming in very clean, so that if it's bacteria, if it's a hormone, it's something in the air, we're hopefully going to be able to catch it there. And we have clean air blowing into these little chambers. And then inside the chambers, we have one chamber currently has 2 plants, and the plants are basically growing by themselves. In the second chamber, we have 2 plants, and we've imported 2 plants from Chile that this thing has been known to climb onto and change the leaf shape. And we've been right now running an experiment where we had the plants growing by themselves. We then threw the plants into these chambers so they can learn from their guides. And we've been growing them for the last 2 months. The goal is we want to get about 3 months worth of growth. And that way we can actually go harvest the leaves. We'll cut them off, take the pictures, And then those would be the images that we'll be able to share with Jisoo, and then she'll go through basically her protocol of figuring out how to get the proper segmentation and then kind of getting the values from all these experiments. And there the goal is.
So what's the
Second?
So what's the number of different plants do you want to shoot for? Like, if you have 6 more coming from Chile, do you crossbreed them with each other to have a colony of different plants? And what's the population?
So now I have a population of 6, and I need to figure out how they behave. The hard part about plants is they're not strict like us. Like for us, we're only allowed to have 2 chromosomes of each type. Like we're called diplets. So you get 1 chromosome from your mom, 1 from your dad, and that's it. If you get an extra chromosome or you're missing a chromosome, normally the embryo dies, or you have like really big defects that happen from it. In plants, it can save DNA and be 2 copies of the same chromosome from the dad and 2 copies from the mom. And based on how many gene copies it has, it can change the way it behaves. So this past Tuesday, we sent out the DNA out in Florida. We're gonna have a guy to use flow cytometry, and they actually like separate the cells individually, and they basically scan for DNA with these fluorescent dyes. And the idea being that we can estimate how big the DNA is. And by that, we can try to guess, are they all have the same DNA, or do some of them have extra copies or less copies? So that's gonna be the way for us to figure out how different or the same they are. If they're all the same, great, we can use them to kind of keep going forward. If they're different, then we have to treat them as a separate test, but make a lot of copies of each and run them both through our protocols. But I'll send you guys the pictures. So, I do have some of like the initial experiment where we set up those 2 plants, and you can actually see.
Yes, please.
I think it was about 6 weeks worth of pictures, and we have the sequential leaves in order, and you'll see in one group that they had these leaves that had jagged edge and they were kind of pointy, and then the leaves that we had started kind of changing the amount of bumps, and the bump shape went from these like nice round structures to these kind of concave things that looked a little bit like that. And that's where, for us, again, I still believe that it's some kind of chemical signal or some hormone or some way of like a molecule that's being sent from the plant, informing from the guide plant, telling our plant how to behave like it. But we have to go back and kind of take away all these extra different conditions just to make sure that it is the thing that we think it is. But we have some fun stuff coming up. One of them, it's they thought if it's a vision thing and it's not an environmental, we don't know how we're going to build it, but the idea is you have the 2 plants, you grow them next to each other. They only like 8 hours of light, and then we have to leave them in the dark. So the idea is we're going to have a little wall that comes up during the daytime. So they're hanging out, their neighbors. At night, we bring the wall down. They're in the dark. If they're sharing hormones or chemicals, they'll be able to share them with each other at night, and they'll still be able to copy the shape. But technically, they can't see each other. And then during the daytime, when they have sunlight, we have the wall up so they can't see each other. And that way we can isolate. Is it a vision thing or is it something else? So that's going to be one way we can split it.
What if the sun, like triggers the communication? It's not like directly seeing, but it just triggers the communication, like the non-vision communication.
So the hard one with that one is that so you're saying like actual sun is causing this thing to make a change?
No, I'm saying the sun is causing the 2 trees to communicate like non-visually. Right? So if you turn on the sun, it's like turning on the messenger between the 2 trees that cannot see each other.
Yeah. So you're right. They do have this ability to actually judge that. So you actually have 2 things that they can do. One of them is, let's say we had a plant and you just were growing it and you had the sunlight hitting it directly. The plant will grow slowly and then invest more in making its leaves bigger. Right? So it'll rather be able to harvest more light. On the other hand, if you put a plant and the light is a lot weaker, it assumes that, or like what we think happening is, it assumes that the area around it is being like, it's competing with other plants. So instead of trying to make its leaves big, it'll keep the leaves very little and it'll just start growing taller. And you get these like super thin, tall plants. And then once they get the sunlight, they'll open up all the way at the top. So it could be that they're responding to the light, This one is like, we're still coming up with experiments. The problem is we don't have enough plants to get them all done separately and at the same time. So we're trying to think of, one is, how do we get the light out? And it's like, if we currently are using LEDs and they basically have multiple light sources. So then it's like you get these kind of like multiple shadows that it's going to make. So it might trick the plant. So we've been thinking like, hey, we have to get diffusers. The other one is, like you're saying, if it's the sunlight normally it's parallel beams of light from far away. We thought about the spectrum of light. We're like, okay, make sure we have like even spectrum, trying to keep it with the sun. A plant, I think in the shade, they normally have more red light than green light. So they normally adjust. So we're like, we got to keep this thing balanced. So we still have a lot of little kind of control things that we have to worry about. But, you know, one day at a time. Especially with science, is that we got to take it slow.
If I could just jump in with Kevin's experimental design, that was something that really impressed me. Sort of, you know, being a side, you know, partner on the project. You know, every other time I'd see Kevin and ask, how's the project going? Or just, what'd you get up to last night? He's like, oh, I had to go to Home Depot. And of course, that's like 45 minutes away to get the PVC pipe, or, you know, find, like, I'm trying to, you know, like get these dividers, but, you know, I have to go find them somewhere and they're not quite the right size, or like all these humidifiers and things like that. That's, you know, maybe you know, from the outside, you don't realize that that's such a big part of the project or of his work and really any experiment that he's designing. But it's like, there's a lot of DIY to it.
But I feel like we all do it.
Yeah, the most impressive thing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think the most impressive thing is he built himself a humidifier, like humidity sensor, right? That's what you build yourself?
We have so it's like a little microcontroller, so it's like a little baby computer. And right now I've got it to the point where it has a sensor that keeps track of the temperature, the humidity, and the air of the room. It has sensor that goes into the soil, so it'll tell you when your plant is wet or dry. And then it has 3 water pumps that are connected to a big chamber. And then through my phone, I can turn them on manually and time it. Be like, turn pump on 1 for 30 seconds or 2 for 15 seconds. But then when I go home...
Oh, so it's manual.
Yeah, so you can do it manually. And the cool one is when I go home, I can actually tell it to give me percentages. And it's like, hey, if the soil humidity drops below 32, 33% or whatever cutoff I want, I'll be like, water yourself for 2 minutes. And it'll just water the plant and then keep it in the right range.
Nice. Or you can hire an unpaid research assistant.
Problem is there's no one here during Christmas, and then there's like a week or 2 weeks in the summer where students don't have housing, so no one lives here. So that's why I was like, okay, we got to build something.
Hire an international one. They're never away from campus on any of the occasions.
The crazy part is there's visa issues too. Like right now we have a few students who haven't come back yet, and it's like we're week 3, and they're still trying to deal with coming back, and then like now they're regretting going home for Christmas, and that's tough. Yeah. The student I was talking about, they told me she's from India, because they were trying to help me with the advising things, and I was like, oh, let me figure things out like with the classes, and then it's like, oh, he's not here because of this. Yeah, so that's tough.
Okay, so all right. Wow, that's unfortunate. Well, let's go a little bit back to your design. Do you have a control group for trees? Because now you just have one mimicking tree, right? And then you have a model beside it. Do you have any like, let's say, a non-model or wall on the other side? That this side is gonna grow naturally, and this side is gonna mimic the model.
Let me see if I can get you to.
Is that?
I want to show it to you. I have it on the share screen. Let me see if I can get this thing to activate. Okay, I'm out.
Okay.
Screen. I should have tried this before you guys got on. Let me see, how can I do it? because I actually had a cool video I wanted to show you guys because it does some pretty fun stuff when it's trying to grow. And we grew.
Can you send me that later?
I'll send it to you later.
I mean, like after the fact.
Let's do it.
Yeah, and then you can share screen also if you wanna.
All right, let me see. I'm gonna do a really simple version. No, it's not gonna work. Never mind.
Nice. This is.
I'll get them back on each other. So the little chambers, they're basically 2 feet by 2 feet, and they're walled on all 4 sides, right? So it's like a little sealed box.
Okay.
And they're about 4 feet tall. And then we have our first box, and it just has 2 of the Volcanologist plants. So those would be 2 of the ones that would like to mimic something, but they're basically in there by kind of like without a guide. So the goal is that we're expecting them to kind of go back to their default state. Like, we have nothing to learn from. We're just going to grow the way that we should grow normally. Next to that, we have a completely different chamber. They're identical to the first one. We have 2 plants in there that are Volcanologist, and then we have 2 additional plants, and those are the ones that they're learning from. That first plant has almost like heart-shaped leaves, and they're kind of bumpy at the edges. And we're hoping that those 2 Volcanologists, if they're in that environment, they should be able to see each other. They can send hormones to each other. There's a group that thinks that maybe the plants are sending bacteria back and forth. And because they're in the same chamber, they should be able to send each other bacteria. Right? That's one group. We have our third box, and that has, again, 2 more Volcanologists. And then we have 2 plants in there that have smooth edge leaves. They're basically elongated. And one of the things is it has a waxy coat on top, so they're kind of shiny. And all these properties, the other author has actually gone out there and found out that we can see them mimicking all these different, like all these things of its appearance. It'll adjust them. So now we're thinking, hey, we technically have 3 independent different chambers. We're going to let them grow, and then this is where we're going to be on the other side, get the data out. The new thing that we need to add to this is. Maybe your tech guy might be able to help us, but I got into trying to understand when we take a picture, depending on the light in the environment, it'll affect how true colors look. So now we have to take an extra picture we have these color cards. We take a picture of the color card to hopefully understand the light in the room, take a picture of our plants, and then we need the computer to basically go back and correct all our images. So if I say something's green, I want to be able to actually represent this is the right green that I'm looking at. But the plants look wild. When you guys get the pictures, you guys see that some of them look yellow, some of them look green, some of them have like these weird green-yellow patterns. Some of them look super dark green. So it's really nice. And then you can also see their coats are different. Like some of them would be dull, some of them would be shiny. And I'll give you guys a whole array of the different leaf shapes from the exact same plant. So it's gonna be fun.
It sounds fun. Let's go a little bit into the economics or the cost of all this. What you're describing is pretty expensive, right? You need equipment for taking pictures. You need equipment for the chamber, right? And then the trees. And I think you have a couple of microscopes in there.
Yeah. So
is it yours as well? So. Tell me a little bit about the funding that the school gave you, and then
the funding.
Then, like how you.
Yeah. So the funding feels small, right? Because we're a private institution. It's a little bit smaller. They don't have as much government grants to support the funding for our level of research. The work we're doing here is analyzing leaf shapes. So technically, we could fall under more open grants from the NSF. The problem is that the other part of my lab does molecular work. And when we do the molecular work, we're technically making brand new pieces of DNA. And that means we fall under this new level of biosafety. So we have to actually go through more clearance to be able to do our work to get government funding. We're currently working on that right now to set up our IBC, so it'd be a committee that can check on our research. And then we'll be able to apply for actual NSF and NIH grants. But for now, that's a big basically block that we won't get any funding, or like we can't get that funding until we have those committees to kind of make sure that we're doing science correctly, right? In our lab we have also our neighbors work on viruses, so that's another big one where unfortunately, we're in a private institute that we don't have that access to the federal grants yet. But at this point, is also kind of being a little bit of a helpful thing because we have private donors that kind of support the research. That's going to help us kind of go over this while this whole federal government funding thing kind of figures itself out. But my startup was about 50,000, but I've been super frugal and I've been super DIY, like an automated watering system, or like we needed one of the machine that flips the plants and waters them. They wanted about $3,000. And then me with two students, one of them, we knew how to use a drill. The other one, we got him into soldering some of the wires. We were able to build it for like about $240. So it was still a little bit pricey, but at the same time, it's like we hit less than 10% of what the commercial things available would cost, right? Our plants are expensive. That's why the cloning will be our big helper. I think for 6 plants, we spent about like almost $200, $300 trying to get the plants.
$100 for a plant?
Yeah, because you have to do next day shipping. You have to be careful with the weather. Then, microscopes, everything's getting expensive after the tariff things happen and the shortages. Prices of things have been just like, I would buy things and it's like, I need another one. A few months later and it was like 50% more. And then some of the things have also been where they'll say the shipping will take too long. Like it'll be like, we can't promise you this thing, an item for like 8 months. And I feel like that used to happen less, but it's getting a little bit tougher on that end.
Okay. So the 2-day shipping thing is because the plant cannot survive for more than 2 days?
Because the bigger they are, the more water that they basically need. So it's like the person normally drenches them for you right before they send them and they give them to you. But we have issues here because we're a little bit out in like, right, we're kind of far from the main cities. If we don't order them on the correct day, like for example, if you order them, I think on Friday or Wednesday, there's no deliveries here. And if it's a Friday delivery and they miss the Thursday deadline, it'll spend the whole weekend in Chattanooga to you might get it Monday afternoon. And at that point, a 1-2 day shipping turns to a 4 or 5 day shipping. Or I've lost one of the plants, it gets into a week. Yeah. And then, so that's a little bit rough. So shipping kills me a lot. Yeah.
But hey, you still have like 45,000 left. Right?
I'm at like,
to blow it on computer?
I'm like maybe 32. 32. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm super free. Like I said, I've been super.
Yeah.
I don't. I pay them with experience and letters of recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
He does actually pay his assistants.
Skill building.
Yeah, being in a lab, it's a CV decorator, right?
Yeah. So far, I feel like I like to brag about it just because it feels good, but it's like the first 2 students in my lab, one of them is in med school, and my other student is in grad school for a genetics PhD. So I'm like, right now we're at 100%.
Wow. Nice.
Posting.
All right. Send this out to your current students.
I will.
So we appreciate
this is going also on the
free
lab
labor.
And then,
nice. You have a lab website now.
Lab website, yes, sir.
Nice. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it like
lab website? Yes, sir.
It's gonna go in my annual report too.
It's gonna go in my annual report too.
Nice.
Public outreach via interdisciplinary podcast.
It's I think they were talking about this should be part of it because it is a way of you sharing science, bringing up also your own institute. Because it is a way of you sharing science, basically opening up to a broader audience. Institute. I think it's really good. Basically opening up to a broader audience.
We might end up on the Sewanee website.
For Swanee's publication.
Probably.
That is too cold.
For an interview for the Swanee Purple. Somebody emailed me. This year,
isn't that the student newspaper?
Yeah, so I'm on with that. Hopefully, they're gonna put me this year. I joined the AI.
Yeah, so I'm on with that. Hopefully, they're gonna put me on the thing.
So then they want to know about AI stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's talk.
For
they want to
using
know about AI
or
stuff.
are they trying to build one?
For using AI, but I think I'm switching teams, y'all. I think AI.
What do you mean switching? You've been using AI. That's how we wrote all that code.
What do you mean switching? You've
Yeah.
been using AI.
It's not like you've been avoiding to use AI.
Yeah, I know. I've been using it because I gotta understand and learn how it works. But for my students, I didn't like them.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like them using
cheating themselves out of an experience.
So now you are for them using AI.
Very limited. Like I have prompts they're allowed to use.
prompts that they're allowed
And
to
it'd be
use.
like at certain windows.
And it'd be like at certain windows.
Hey, we're not an English
Hey,
class.
we're not an
all
English class.
writers.
We're not
It's
all
gonna be rough.
English writers.
But I'm okay with you them handing
But I'm
it to
okay
me a
with you
rough
them handing it
draft.
to me a rough.
And it's like,
draft.
let's talk about it. Let's get the
And it's like,
ideas
let's
going.
talk about
And
it,
have
let's
the
get the
AI
ideas
kind
going,
of fix
then
it.
have the AI kind of fix it.
But my goal is to have them
But
think.
my goal is to have them think. And
The goal in our department is to
the
make
goal in
them
our department is to make them
basically be able to analyze data,
be able to analyze data,
have their they themselves interpret what
they
it
themselves
means,
interpret
what's a
what it
fact
means,
and what's opinion.
what's a fact and what's
Once they
opinion.
do that,
Once they
and
do
they can
that,
give me that in a rough
and they
draft,
can
of
give
like
me
a
that
rough
in a
idea
rough draft of
what
like a
their
rough
viewpoint
idea,
is,
what their
then I'm kind of
viewpoint is.
okay with them using
Then I'm
this
kind of
to
okay
give them
with
that
them
final
using this
polished
to give them
version.
that final
But
polished
that
version.
core thing is
But
where
that core thing
I
is
tell
where
them they're not allowed
I
to
tell them
basically
they're not
have
allowed
the
to
AI influence those
have the
aspects.
AI influence those aspects.
So it's been kind of fun, but
So it's been kind of fun,
you guys
but
know it's always a
you guys know
time
it's
to
always
work for everything.
in
you
time
want.
Wow.
for everything you want.
I remember you like pulling hairs to students turning in AI works, and now here you are. Right. All right. So that was.
It's an accessibility tool.
Well,
It's an accessibility tool.
it's always a hot topic of like how do we integrate using AI into the classroom, right? I just have a philosophy that as long as they don't lose the ability to think by themselves, then they can turn in whatever that they use with AI. But the proof that they think independently matters, right? So how do you see that? Right? So that's still a puzzle for me. Okay.
So for me, it's been a lot more discussion.
Well, they can parrot the discussion from somewhere. Like,
But fortunately, the moment you ask them a question, that's sometimes the hardest
Fortunately,
part for them to actually
the moment
answer.
you ask them a
And
question,
it'll be like a
that's
little
sometimes
tangent, a
the
little bit
hardest
of going
part
off
for
the
them to
script,
actually answer.
and then you'll be completely
It'll be like
lost.
a little tangent, a little bit of going off the script,
And then that's where
completely like,
I think we have to figure out
and
what's
then
our
that's
best
where
way to kind of ask them the right question.
we have to
and then
figure
guide
out
them
what's
to
our best way.
what is the actual
to kind
purpose
of
of
ask
doing
them
this thing.
the right question.
That way, when they're
Guide them
going
to
through the whole
what
experience,
is the actual
we had to go through the
That
difficult
way,
thing
when they're
of figuring
going through
out
the whole
crazy amounts of
experience,
background data to
we
figure
have
out
to
what
go
the
through the
main
difficult
line
thing
was.
of figuring
It's
out
like, how do we
crazy
get our
amounts of
students
background
to,
data,
in
figure
their
out what the main
preparatory work with the AI,
It's like, how do we
figure
get our
out that
students
pathway so they can actually
in
figure
their
it out.
preparatory work with the AI.
So
Figure
Wow.
out that so they can actually-
fun
wow. All right.
So-
Let me know if
Fun stuff.
it works in the end. All right. So it's been really informative, the information that you guys share with me. The next section is going to be like my signature segment. It's called Math Your Life. Math Your Life. Basically, I'm gonna ask you each a sequence of questions, and then I'm gonna come up with a let's say in economics it's called utility function. I think Jisoo has some exposure with economics. So utility function is like a function that describes how you respond to different stimulant in your life, and it depends on your system of values, and it's going to be an equation, and your life decision is going to depend on, let's say, the parameters within that model. So that model is going to be yours, and your face is going to have a little math model underneath it that describe your life decisions, and I want to have a bunch of questions for each of you to build your own model. So let's start with Jisoo. Can you identify like three most important aspects of your life, like career, family, or I think we saw you adopting like 3 dogs within like 2 months. So so is animal one of the contributors to your happiness, or how do you like can you list like 3 most important variables in your life?
Yeah, definitely career, but not necessarily like becoming, the head honcho in an organization. That for me, career is important in terms of some sense of, I guess, like self-actualization or having fulfilled some purpose. And so I think hopefully that will come with experience and sort of more accomplishments within the field. I definitely don't feel that way yet, and I hope to in the future, and that's kind of my number one motivator, honestly. And maybe money will come with that, but that's really not a priority.
How do you define like accomplishment within your field? Do you want to like explore a new kind of rock, or do you want to explore a new volcano somewhere? Like, what's the contribution that makes you satisfied?
Yeah, I guess the contribution that a lot of people know about and consider interesting and valuable, because I see all the time, and I'm sure you guys do too, where like sometimes you see papers that you're surprised are published, that they got through peer review, and I never want that to happen to me. I want, and sometimes I see papers where I'm like, oh, this was work that was well done, but it's not different in any way, or I'm like, this feels like the 4th paper I've read by this group, and it's just like the same things, just on a different volcano, and so I think adding sort of that like big picture aspect to my work and having that repeatedly would make me feel better about myself.
Nice. Is there like a Nobel Prize or field prize equivalent in your like geology area?
I mean, yeah, like I feel like not even quite to that level. I don't know how much people care about it. I mean, I kind of keep an eye on it. Like if I go to the major meeting of that professional organization that year and they announce the award winners, like I'll probably make a mental note of it. Or if I hear like, oh, like that person won, like, oh, of course she did. She's like a big deal already. And so that's yeah, I mean, I would not say no if that ever came to me, but that itself is not a motivator.
Nice. Do you have a monetary or like financial goal in your life that comes along with? No? Nice.
Which I know it sounds silly, but I mean, I have to say, like, I think that tends to probably come from me not. Like I grew up comfortable, and so I think that kind of took that like drive away from me, and so I think I think in terms of like long-term considerations and goals, having more money wouldn't help me get there, and so I think that as I get older, that has not really changed for me.
All right, so career is one of the variables. Can you identify 2 more?
I guess sort of in the realm of self-fulfillment. I mean, I make it a priority or find it really important to fill my non-work time with a variety of hobbies and experiences. So I don't know how to really sum that up neatly, but
okay. So what's your hobbies?
So the pet care, that was very enriching, and that was something that was new. Or like on Sunday, like we went to go play golf, and that's not something I regularly do. I don't like particularly like golf, but to have the option of doing various physical activities like hiking or skiing or golf or whatever it is, having that flexibility. And so I don't want to just be like, I want to have fun, but that's sort of I don't know, enrichment, can we say? I guess that's like sort of the best word that comes to my mind, like having opportunities for enrichment. And it's also why I like travel, or like to talk about your guys' respective cuisines and cultures and language. Language learning is something I also really enjoy, and so that's, I think, having like that. It's why I don't spend like every waking hour working. When I come home from work, like I 99% of the time don't do additional work because all the other stuff is really important as well.
All right, so I'm gonna sum it up as hobbies. Any time you spend like for yourself. How about family or social work, or any kind of like a community service-ish that you think about?
Like I think family and community, I feel like that's sort of in flux right now. My siblings and I, there's 3 of us, and we all live in different cities right now, but when we are able to spend time together, like the holidays weren't that long ago, that was really special. And the same thing with my parents. I'm sure many people feel the same way, but you don't appreciate what you have until you are grown and maybe you've moved out from your parents' house, or things change and you can't go back to what it was. And so when you do have the chance to all spend time together, it's really I can't put a price on it. And so who knows what will happen in the future. I don't know where I'm going to be after this fellowship. And my siblings, they have their own lives, their own careers, and my parents, approaching this next stage of life. My dad plans to retire in the next few years, and will they stay back home in California? Will they, they plan to travel around the world and spend a lot of time back in Korea too, but then that will also make things that will make these family gatherings like that much more difficult to plan. But that's a huge priority for me too. If I ever have the chance to go home and spend time with my family, even if it's just for a little bit, I'm always going to choose that. And so and that extends to my extended family too, but that's even harder because they're all in Korea. So that's that's something that's also sort of in that theme of self-fulfillment and a source of happiness and a priority in my life. That's my people. That's where I come from. That's who made me.
That's very nice. So I identified the 3 most important variables for you are career, family, and hobbies. Are they ranked like that? Career, family, and hobbies, or how do you rank them?
Career, hobbies, and family. I'm realizing this all is very self-centered, but that's the order.
Nice.
I'm just being honest here.
Okay.
I wish the order was, the world and social work and giving away my alms, but
wow.
No.
Yeah, you gotta be true to yourself. But I respect that.
Maximize my Pareto efficiency.
Nice. Oh, nice. Wow, I'm impressed. All right, the next question is going to be the question about choices. This is going to give weight to career, hobbies, and family in your utility function. So let's say you have a choice between career and hobbies. Let's say if you have to spend a weekend 2 days, or let's say 2 days is 16 hours, more on your project in the weekend versus going out to wherever you want to travel to. Let's say, where do you want to travel to? Korea?
Sure. No,
Alright.
let's say Vietnam
Yeah.
for this one.
Okay, so let's say Vietnam. So would you trade that with like the travel and how much would like the cost of the travel be so that you stay in the lab?
Oh, I see. So, okay, so let's say like there was like an amazing deal on the flight to Vietnam. Like, what would that number have to be?
So that you go and then not stay in the lab.
Oh my gosh, I mean, as soon as there's a deal of any kind, I'm no longer a rational consumer.
So if you stay in the lab, you would complete the assignment that you've been doing
Okay, that's a
forever.
good comparison.
And then if you go, because you are in a lot of stress, and then if you go, you'd have to pay like 4,000, 5,000 in total for both flight and room and board. Would you choose to stay and endure the stress, or would you go and relieve yourself from that? Yeah. So it's a one in a lifetime deal to go to Vietnam with like it's a 5,000 worth of trip, but you're being offered to spend only 1,000, let's say. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for real? All right. Let me input that into the calculator. Be done with work, or go to all right. So can you live without any of the three? Let's say you max out your career. Can you live without hobbies and family? If you receive a Nobel Prize in geology, would you give up like traveling, hiking, and then contacts with your parents, let's say? Okay. So you will feel regret if you give up like everything else for your career because it's the first choice. Okay. So won't give up hobbies. You're not even gonna give up your hobbies? Because I know people that can give up hobbies to max out the career. Okay. All right. And then family versus career. Like, let's say you have to you have a position to choose between career and family. Say there's a big event. Let's say your sister or your brother's wedding going on, but you still have to go to a conference. So
Where's the conference?
so
It's in Vietnam.
yeah.
No, I would pick the wedding. I do know someone like that, a family friend, where with two women or two girls, and the younger one was getting married, and the older one was doing her residency or something, and she only came for half the wedding, and then she had to go to work. And I was like, that's crazy. I don't care whose life you're saving. This is your sister's wedding. Hopefully the only one. What's going on?
All right, wedding over conference. That's nice. Let's see. That's gonna be. All right. Let's prescribe your utility function. All right. So your utility function is going to be your career to the power of 0.2, your hobbies to the power of 0.3, and your family to the power of 0.5. So your family is going to be your most important parameter, not your career, because of the last thing that you chose from your choice of the wedding over the career, the conference, right? So the weight of family must be highest, and then the weight of hobbies is going to be over the weight of careers, because Jisoo explicitly stated that she won't give up her hobbies for her career. So again, she herself said that career is number one, but what keeps her alive are family tops, and then hobbies second, and then career. So that's a therapy session for you. That's like
I love
tarot
it. This is
session.
way better than therapy. It's better than astrology. It's better than my tarot cards. I love it. Thank you, economics.
All right.
I can't wait to hear Kevin's.
I have questions about this
All right.
function, utility function.
Yeah. So
Wait, so when you're putting the different variables, right? So it's like you're putting family, and you said that one, you're putting it to the power.
yeah. So three of them multiplied together, and career has the power of 0.2. Hobbies has a power of 0.3, and then family has a power of 0.5. The three of them has to add up to 1 for economic reasons. So it's called like constant return to scale. So if you have twice of the same thing, you're gonna be twice as happy. That's the point. But the power means if you take the derivative of your utility with respect to, let's say, family. So your family changes a little bit in the family unit. It's going to change your utility by 0.5 times the derivative of the utility. So that's the highest weight on the utility.
So then, but then technically, just randomly, if one of them goes to 0, does that mean all the other ones basically just get knocked out, and then your utility goes down to 0?
No, if one of the power goes to 0, that's going to be 1, right? Anything to the power 0.
Oh, you're
is
messing
gonna
with
be
the
1.
powers. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So career to the power of 0.2 times hobbies to the power of 0.3, and then family to the power of 0.5. All right, to Kevin.
Let's go. Hot seat time.
Let's say, so first, identify your 3 most important aspects of your life. Is it plans? Is it girlfriend or family? Like girlfriend and family can be two separate things, or is it your career, or is it money, or
I was listening to Jisoo, and it biased me a little because it made me think about like, hey, and I think careers first, right? And I try to think to myself like, yeah, maybe family and hobbies, and then so for me it was careers. I think is one of the big ones, right? I think that's probably my first one. And it's just kind of reflecting on the decisions I've made, right? And it's like, and then the career I've chosen, it's about teaching, where it's like, hey, I'm setting myself up in an area where if I did something else, I could make more money, right? Like we just talked about earlier today. It's like, if I quit now, I could go be an ICE agent and I would make more money, right? And so it's like career in the sense of like, hey, I want to be a professor, and then on the back end, it's like I'm hoping I can patent something, or I hope I can discover something to help people out, somehow make an effect, right? And I'm putting that as career in the sense of like I want to have a purpose to do something to help people, and not the career part where people are talking about money, right? So that's where it's like going to grad school, doing all those things were an investment in my time where I wasn't making money. It was also time where sometimes I was borrowing money, right? And it's like, again, it's me chasing down that purpose, trying to help people, trying to do the bigger thing. And money, I've been not setting it as the right priority. Like it's been down on the table, right? And it's been like, I'm gonna suck it up. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say your career is now in academia, but you said being an ICE agent comes with $200,000, but you have a cost of your conscience, let's say. But without that cost of conscience, let's input another cost of conscience being like if you have to work in industry and you have to work on mice, but they pay you $250. Would you choose academia or $250 and you have to kill mice for a living? You hear them little screams when you plug that knife in, right?
Yeah. So when I first got into my PhD, I was thinking of I had two labs I was rotating. The first one was the plant lab, and the next one was that they wanted to study mice wound healing. So then the goal was you go in, the adults, you cut them, and then you test how the sugar level, so how diabetes affects wound healing. The other one was they were looking at how that there's two different repair mechanisms where as an adult you get a cut. On the mice, they'll get a scar. Like, you get like these things just basically building up. But then if you cut a baby, the baby won't get scars. So we're trying to figure out how these things work. And like I said, there were small rooms, just walls of mice, and it got me a little bit. I was like, I don't think I can do it. The other one is when I studied human development.
Even like for $250,000, you're not going to do that?
I couldn't do it back then. And now when you say $250,000, that sounds good. Like it does. Like I'm like, I hope I could suck it up. I don't know if I'd be too happy. Like I need other stuff to try to give me a sense of happiness.
All right. So what if I pay you $250,000 to cut up some lab mice, and then you can spend like $5,000 to grow a colony of mice in return. So to the mice population, you both do bad and then do good. And then the good is gonna, offset the bad that you do to them.
So as a scientist, I'm gonna say yes. I would do it like just a little clause would be like, I'm willing to hurt mice if it helps humans.
All right, this is gonna be the thumbnail.
So I would do it.
The hook. Just like, all right, Germany back in 1942. All right. So career in academia, not so strong, though. So what's your second variable to?
I want to say I want to say family. I'll put them second.
Family in what sense?
You know what? Let me change family to like family/community,
Community.
right? And it's like kind of wherever you go, you build your own little community.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we were all here, like that was the community, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, you get to spend time with people, you enjoy spending time with people, you guys do fun activities. It's like, you know, eating together, breaking bread, that's a big one for me. Yeah.
Okay. And the third one.
That one, I'm gonna put the personal things to make me happy.
Personal things to make you
I don't know if
happy.
it's hobby.
The
My girlfriend's number one. You know, that
Okay.
was always, it's like, I love spending time with her. That's always awesome. I love playing video games. And then she likes playing video games. So then that's also a big bonus. Food is another big one for me. I love cooking. Barbecues are the best. And
well, you have to check up for gout later, just like me.
that's why I'm drinking water all the time now. I'm like, we gotta keep the system clean. Save it for the meat. And
Oh, I
then,
miss them barbecues.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me see. I think those are my hobbies. Like, that's pretty small. I don't do
Netflix?
too much. They kicked me out. They had the whole you can't be family in two different states stuff anymore. So no Netflix for me. So I've been
for
slowing
real?
it down. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But this made me think about what Jisoo was talking about.
Uh-huh.
It's like you have hobbies, and it made me think to myself. I'm like, just kind of thinking back where I'm like, would have I had more hobbies if I didn't go to grad school?
Yeah.
Right? Because like I'm older now, and I'm like, hey, I have my knees hurt, my back hurts, you know. And then I'm like, I tried snowboarding one time. I fell a lot, but I tried it, and now I'm like, if I had spent time instead of like developing my career, maybe I would have went out and tried it a little bit more, right?
Nice.
So yeah.
Is hiking one of them, or?
Yeah, I kind of like going out and walks. The only problem is one time I did run into a 6-foot rattlesnake, and it was coming out of a hole, and I got scared. I was running down the hill, so I lost control. I fell down.
What?
It was like cartoony.
Did
like
it just happen within the past few months?
No, it was like maybe like 8 years ago, but I still remember it to this day. I haven't
So it's not in
actually-
Swanee. Okay.
No, it's not in Swanee. But luckily here, I've never seen a snake. People tell me there's a bunch of them. So now what I'm worried is that maybe I'm not good at knowing finding the snakes. You know? So fingers crossed.
All right. So career versus family and community. So you have a conference and you're gonna talk with like one of the most prominent person in biology, probably the one that received a Nobel Prize in 2025, wherever that is. But then one of your family members need you back home, and they don't have any other options. So how do you value each of these, and which one are you going to choose?
The hard one there is like my family has needed me recently. They're like, hey, we need help and stuff, and it's like I'm still here, right? So and it's like it's like I've already made the decision a few times, right? And it's like I'm still here.
Yeah, been there and done that. So yeah. So what were the other options for your family members if you're not there?
You know, they figure it out. They pull through, and then it's like I know one of my sisters. She's both of them. They actually take a lot of time off from their work to help, and then it's it's hard. I think it's harder on them, right? Because the thing where it's like they have to take time off, the days off, and it's like if mama has a surgery, and it's like I'm so far away, it's like I can't do it, and then they're luckily I have them to that they're actually doing this stuff. Yeah. But bad son.
Is it because of like the need of you being there for your students, or is it because of the distance, or is it because of, let's say, the cost of travel, like the time cost or monetary cost, or the opportunity cost of you not being in class for the students?
Like I try not to have it affect my students as much as possible, and then the cost, it's like I try my best to find like affordable flights. So then it's like I don't think it's the flights that much or the cost that much. But I do think that when I do something, I got to give the best of myself to do it. And then it's like right now, it's like I'm trying to figure this thing out, being a teacher and working here, and it's like I'm still giving it my best. And you know, I put myself out there, do a little bit more. But yeah, I don't like to give half of what I can do.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So I think the choice can be, let's say, put in monetary terms so that it like to take away the sentiments. If you go back home and help out your family, you may save like $5,000 to $10,000 for your family members to not go back to surgery again. But if you go straight by flight or anything, you have an opportunity cost of like a couple of $1,000s of not completing the semester with students. And then you have a direct cost of $1,000 flight, maybe. So one is saving probably $5,000 of a surgery, and the other is a $4,000 like direct cost plus the cost of the class that you won't finish for the semester, probably. So you put monetary value in there. Probably helping your family has like a rationale behind it, so you avoid costs for yourself later, probably.
Man, I'm confused. So you said my family back home, they're paying $8,000?
No. I mean, if you went back
spending
to your family, they would have saved $5,000 of going back to surgery, right? But if you choose to stay, you will give up that $5,000 that you could have saved your family to go through, right? And then if you choose to go back home to your family, you would have given up like a $3,000 on a course that you won't finish teaching, probably. If they deduct that from your paycheck, the $3,000, and then $1,000 of direct flight cost. So in total, that's going to be $4,000 on your part.
So the 5 on them or 4 on me?
Uh-huh.
I think the 4 on me.
Okay. All right. Let's see what Gemini speaks about your utility function.
What?
So-
You're not even coming up with this yourself?
What? No, I have a model for Gemini to learn beforehand. So they have a bunch of different iterations before, like I have to prep this first. Yeah.
I heard
Therefore-
Gemini's pretty good at analysis, so
Yeah, so for a couple of people, the utility function is going to come up a little bit different. For people who want to max out on one thing, the utility function can be, let's say, only that thing, and then anything else. Anything else can be secondary to that one thing in the career that they want to max out, or if they want to max out family, anything else can be secondary. But you all have the same form, like the same type of utility function, which is like in economics, it's called a Cobb-Douglas utility function. It's three different things multiplied together, and then you have a little power above each of them. So for Kevin, you have your career up top with a power of 0.65, which is an overwhelming priority in your life, right? According to your choices of whether you would go back and be with your family or community, you prioritize your career. And family and community comes second with 0.2. So it's academia, career to the power of 0.65, and then family to the power of 0.2. And then your personal life comes last with the power of 0.15 because of your choice. So the analysis is you rejected you rejected a 316% pay increase, which is like from your current paycheck now to $250,000 because of killing mice. And then only like after a second thought, you switch back to taking the offer. So I think you value your academic career a lot, right? Professionalism over everything else. So you don't want to hurt your students' chance to succeed, and you want to maintain the high standards in the classroom. So they put a really high weight on professionalism and your academic career. And that's going to be your prescription of your life in one equation. Are you tearing up?
I think it's good. I'm like,
All right.
I feel like it's right. You got me.
Cool. All right. So it's been more than 2 hours of footage. All right.
Do we get to know yours or no?
Your phone's dead? Okay. All right. Oh, God.
Redo tomorrow.
All right. So I think it's time for us to wrap it up. And thank you all so much for joining me today and sharing about your career and your life. And Kevin probably needs a little bit of a tissue over there. Right? Sorry for that. Oh yeah, it's 11.
Oh wait, tissue? What do you mean? No, my contacts. It's my eyes.
Okay.